Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite YouTube show. In this video we're going to talk about 5 TV shows that should have ended after their first season. Let's get on to it. So before we begin, if you haven't already and if you enjoy the content, please make sure you subscribe. It really does help a lot. So first TV show that should have ended after their first season is Prison Break. I hope everyone remembers Prison Break. It was amazing. It was so beautifully shot. It had a great story, it had a great cinematography. The performances from Wentworth Miller and Dominic Purcell, both great, played the brothers, and the story in general that someone would get himself in prison to save his brother. It was just never seen before. But just like me when I'm eating, I never know where to stop, and they should have ended after the first season. I mean, the show is called Prison Break. They broke out of prison. It should have ended there. They should have wrapped up the story. It would have been amazing if they did. But just like, every other thing in the world, if it makes a lot of money, it's gonna keep going until it stops. And they even released a 5th season a couple of years back, which was like a complete disappointment. I watched that and it's just, do not watch it, do not bother. Next TV show that should have ended after their first season is Netflix's Stranger Things. And first season was amazing. It was brilliant. It was like a mixture of Stephen King and 80s horrors and like metaphysical, and with the upside down and then with the power. So it was like a mixture of so many great ideas and like D&D, all those 80s stuff. And then it went on for more seasons. Season 2 was a copy of season 1. Season 3 is the same thing. So it's things that we've seen before. It's things that we already saw happening in the first season. So they are even making more now, season 4 and season 5. I think it's gonna go for a few more seasons after that. It's only because it makes money, and every time it comes out, Netflix, it breaks records and all of that. But I think it should have ended after season 1. It had a great story. We saw like how Eleven progressed from the little girl and grew up, and we saw like the friendship and what they went through, and then we saw Hobber, I think is the name of the policeman, and what he went through, and then they found Will. But all of that they kept repeating in season 2 with just like a different looking monster, and then season 3 with a slightly different looking one. So it's all the same again, and my opinion should have ended after season 1. Next is True Detective season 1 with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. It was just amazing. Their performances were brilliant. The cinematography, the story, the writing of season 1 was amazing. The mystery and the whole like jumping, through timelines, like in the future, and then jumping back to see what's happened when they were detectives. It was just amazing. It kept you like you wanted to watch next and next, and it was just amazing. I tried to watch a little bit of season 2, just couldn't get into it. I don't think they can recapture that, that magic and that like same thing that they did with season 1. And season 2, I didn't even bother, in my opinion. It should have ended after season 1. Yep. Up next, we have HBO's Westworld, and seems like HBO has a track record of making a few good seasons in the beginning and then just completely fucking it up. Game of Thrones. Season 1 of Westworld was so great. The whole idea of a futuristic park where rich people can go and basically have fun and do all those crazy things, like live in the Wild West, and then live all those like crazy times and still be safe, like in the park. And it dealt with so many like themes of where do we come from and what makes us human, and like very interesting stuff. And Anthony Hopkins, I think it was, yes, Anthony Hopkins, it was brilliant on that role, of the old person there who was the original creator of the park, and then Spoiler alert, I mean, it's been a few years now since season 1, but in the end, Dolores, his creation, killed him, and it was a brilliant story, and it should have wrapped up right there and then. It should have ended there with, like, end while you're ahead. And season 2, I watched half of it. It's just too confusing. You never know what's going on, and I think they're at that point where they think they are so smart, but they're not actually smart, kind of like me. It should have ended after season 1, I think. Season 2, I watched a little bit, as I said. Season 3, I don't think I will ever watch. So, yeah, such a missed opportunity to end, like, make an impact and then end it right there and then. So, the last show that I want to talk about is La Casa de Papel. I recently watched this when season 4 came out. I binged through all 4 seasons. This is a Spanish TV show, and Spanish production. It looks great. There's nothing, like, you can easily compare it to, like, the high budget Hollywood stuff, and it holds up great, and it's even better than most Hollywood shows out there. But the same thing again, it kept going when it should have just ended after that first heist. So I think this was shot, because Spanish TV is shot a different way. I think there was like many episodes, and then Netflix bought this because it became such a huge phenomenon. And season 1 basically they made like in 2 parts, in like a Netflix, part 1 with 10 or 12 episodes, and then part 2 and part 3 and part 4. So basically it's like in the first 2 parts they deal with one heist, and then in this part 3 and part 4 they deal with a different heist. Basically the first heist was great, and it was a plan that they had thought, that the professor had thought for like years and years, and it was like a well studied plan, and like every move and what would happen, it was a very smart plan. And like a lot of people on the crew, they do it for different reasons. Some people do it for money, and some people do it for glory. Some other people do it like the professor does it for revolution and for what he believes. And after they finish this heist, the way it picks up again on part 3, it just doesn't make sense at all. It just picks up, like the plot is like so thin, and it does not make sense. And it clearly shows that they only continued it after it became such a huge phenomenon, and it was clear that there was no intentions for them to make more, because a lot of the character development becomes after like the on part 3 and part 4, and it's just obvious that they had no plans to continue it, but because Netflix bought it, and it made a lot of money, and it was really popular, like huge phenomenon all over the world, and they should have just ended it after the first heist. That first heist was so clever, it was brilliantly shot, the whole plan made sense, like there was a goal there, and then on the second heist there's not really a goal. I mean, there is some kind of goal, but it hangs from like a really thin line, the plot. So should have ended after part 1 and part 2 on the first heist, and they would have ended with a bang and like with a splash, because it was great. Right, so this is it for me today. 5 TV shows that should have ended after their first season. Of course, they would never ever have ended in their first season, because they were so popular and because they made so much money. Thank you very much for watching. Again, please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you think I should have included another TV show, or if you have a different opinion, or if you thought that one of the TV shows I mentioned did not really deserve to be on this list. Subscribe if you already haven't. My goal for 2020 is to have 2,000 subscribers, so please, if you enjoy it, help me out, and I will see you in the next one.